the pause, and it's very interesting that the pause is coming to you in an evening setting, but that is what it is. We are privileged to be in the home of retired Supreme Court Judge William Atuguba, and we're going to speak about a lot of issues, and we are happy to be in your presence, Justice.
Thank you.
And I was telling your son that the last time I met you, it was at the funeral of the late former President Judge John Rawlings.
Okay.
And we had an interview at the car park of Parliament House.
Okay.
Yes. And so
that time you were much you're smaller.
Right. So so it's an honor to be in your home and to have this opportunity to have this interaction with you.
Thank you.
You're on retirement. How is retirement treating you?
Retirement is you are set at large, and to manage something at large, that's like the whole world. It's before you, and but the first port of call is the rest. I was there for 21 years, and it was intensive, most of the time, and after stretching yourself all that while, you really need to take out the stress. So that's the main thing. But when I retired, 1st July 2018 I retired. 3rd July 2018 I was appointed chairman of the Independent Examinations Committee of the General Legal Council, as responsible for conducting and overseeing the examinations of the professional course.
Okay.
And then January 2019, I was invited by the Sierra Leone government to chair one of 3 parallel commissions of inquiry into the 10-year tenure of Bai Koroma, allegations of corruption, abuse of power. So I was there for 1.5 years. And then came back, and since then, I have decided to avoid traveling too much. When you are younger, you are excited to be traveling. Not now. My children are always eager. I should come to them. I feel they are grown. They should be on
on their own.
That me.
But you do have time to follow national discourse on national issues.
Oh, not so much. Except that, yes, to the extent that they appear on social media, on my phone. That's the main source.
Of course.
I see headlines, I look at them, and I read the interesting ones. Otherwise, I don't watch TV much, except there's something interesting, like international football involving Ghana. But otherwise.
So I take it therefore that you are a football fan.
Oh, to the limited extent of the involvement of the national team.
Okay.
Otherwise, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
I brought the issue of national discourse because currently in the country we are dealing with a matter that has actually taken the attention of the entire country. The Ghana Water Company 2 weeks ago sounded the alarm bell when they said that in the weeks and months to come, they were going to find it difficult to purify water and pump into our various wells because of activities of illegal mining. Yeah. And that was a trigger. And then after that, everybody started talking about it. Yeah. I mean, we are joining, we've done a lot of documentaries. The current Journalist of the Year, Erasa Saradonko, he won the award because of the work he did around illegal mining. Now, almost everybody the organized labor, or interest group, they've all voiced their sentiments against the wanton destruction of the environment. You have been following the discourse. What is your take on what is happening?
It's very disheartening. We are kind of tearing the resources of the country asunder, devastating our means of livelihood, because basically we are an agricultural, country, and once that base is destroyed, I mean, you can imagine the catastrophic effect on food prices, food availability, even the quality of it. Understand this galamsey thing involves cyanide and these kinds of chemicals and so forth. And the water we drink is heavily silted with these pollutants. Understand the destruction has even gone to producing deformed children. That's as serious as that. I mean, when I mention this, I really get tensed up. Can't imagine that. And well, to interest you, while I was on the bench, when you're on the bench, you're very restricted, your movement. But once, we're hearing these things once in a while. And once I was traveling to Kumasi, and I think it's the River Pra.
Right.
I saw the water in it. It was clay. So when I came back, I told my colleagues, look, this thing is very serious. And let's put conservatism aside. I mean, it's true, judges don't act on their own. Unless parties, litigants, come and invoke litigation before them, and then they resolve. So we are supposed to stay neutral until we are approached by litigating parties, and we adjudicate impartially. Nonetheless, these things are common law principles. The common law is the handiwork of the judges, beginning from England. They formulated these rules for the benefit of society.
Right.
And it is inherent in the common law that it is not static. And the courts advance its frontiers to solve the challenges of society. And so no principle should be regarded as fixed for all time. Even the most important book, the Bible, which is the most sacrosanct, the most authoritative law. What did Jesus say? The law is made for man, and not man for law.
Right.
So when this thing was going on, and I was not seeing any serious countermeasures, I was telling my colleagues, look, let's take it upon ourselves and summon the relevant authorities and order them to put down this menace. But I wasn't getting support.
You didn't get enough support with the drive you wanted to take?
Yeah, I didn't get any support. But I'm not surprised. I think I was going too far in terms of, being proactive. That requires quite a fundamental leap in judicial processes, which, it's not so easy to fall for it like that.
But I mean, talking about the court, I don't know whether you followed the just ended conference of the Ghana Bar Association in Kumasi. The Attorney General, when he had the opportunity, mentioned, for example, that currently before the court they have 850 illegal miners who are facing trial for exactly, and that they've also prosecuted a number of them. But there's also the other side, which says that, for example, some of the foreign nationals that are held before the court, the reason why some of them are let go is because they don't even have interpreters to help in getting conviction. So in the absence of that, sometimes it's difficult to make progress on those cases. The reason why some of them are let go.
Well, I'm completely surprised about this. Well, what kind of language is there? Unless it is very obscure, that you can't get Ghanaian personnel to interpret. I mean, the greatest actors in this are the Chinese. I think so. I mean, I was surprised to hear that we don't have people who have studied the Chinese language to the requisite degree to be interpreters. They look for them from the relevant sources. Can't get them.
But again, the Chinese angle and the fact that they come from China, the area that they are operating is reserved for Ghanaians, small-scale mining for Ghanaians. So clearly, they have local actors that open the way for them to engage in this illegality. So in terms of the dealing with the issue from the base, in 2017, President Akufo-Addo put his presidency on the line. Some will do evaluation and say that nothing much, in fact, the situation is much worse than when he committed to fight it. You have been watching. You think that leadership failure is to blame for what is happening?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the state doesn't operate itself. That's why we have the presidency, the ministers. The drive is an executive government where we are doing. And specifically under the Constitution, the president has the duty to execute and implement the laws of the country. As he has to see to the execution and implementation. He is the chief. He has plenary authority. He is super. All the others are really agents of the president, the ministers and so forth. And so he is a chief steward of the state. He has far-reaching powers of control. And he is the appointing authority for most of these people. Well, you cannot expect him to be everywhere, but for him to get the requisite information. I mean, the presidency has how many workers?
In the thousands.
Thousands. I mean, why will he not be well informed? I'm sure he has his media segment to brief him. The ministers are there, Minerals Commission, all these people. I mean, I don't know. He's the chief, commander-in-chief of the armed forces and so forth, the police. And so.
But others are acting on his behalf. For example, there's a minister designated for lands and natural resources. His main objective really is to lead these fights and to report to the president that this is the task you gave me, this is the result. Now the result we are seeing is not one that we are proud of. There are those who are demanding his resignation. Is it a call that you support?
Well, I think this is for everybody to answer. You simply measure the call against the extent of the default, the ravages done to the environment. All this while, 7 years, I think getting to 8 years.
Almost 8 years.
And it's not so easy to defeat it, but at least it should be contracting progressively. But it's expanding for the worse. You know, that's the, I mean, and so can you say that the powers that be have lived up to their mandate? So, and that's why he can hire and fire. If sometimes they even just reshuffle, change positions.
So in this case, perhaps will you support the call that the president must fire the ministers responsible for this fight, this issue of galamsey, and the evidence on the ground suggests that it's been a total failure?
Well, I think to some extent we are all to blame, because this, look, this is the time to, the president has how many months to exit office?
Less than 3 months.
This is the time to start calling for these sort of things. If he fires and brings in a new, I mean, how much work can he do within this time? And these are politicians. It's election season. They are distracted, they're going about campaigning with probably members of campaign teams of whatnot. I mean, this call should have come much earlier. I don't think that the timing is anything.
Meaning that whether you sack or maintain, it will make no difference?
Not any serious difference, but we can push them to do more.
But on moral grounds, and the fact that looking at the evidence on the ground, I mean, some have suggested that in any advanced country, the minister will simply just just step away.
Yes, yes. But not in Africa. That's an unfortunate thing. That's a standard practice. You can see even the Prime Minister, Britain, how many of them have left the scene?
A lot of them.
Yeah. Well, somebody came even, not even 2 weeks or 3 weeks to go. Another one and so forth. On principle, they act on principle. And that's what is lacking in the African system. Principle is thrown to the gutters. Principle is alien to our national life. It's opportunism. It is party affiliation, party loyalty, you know, personal loyalty. These are the things. And it's very, very, very unfortunate.
But in the midst of this, the other angle is also that we as citizens perhaps are not angry enough to demand accountability for the people we have voted for and entrusted the destiny of this country into their hands. So we talk and then we go to sleep and pick up the next subject the next day. So people take advantage of our seemingly weakness and then still, even when they have failed.
Yeah. Well, that's why I was saying that this galamsey failure, we're all partly to blame because the citizens, now they are waking up at the 11th hour. Why? Was the damage not there all along? And the effects, were not feeling them. The warnings from the Ghana Water and Sewage and the environmental protection agencies. Even at National Ivory Coast had reason to complain, to poison their water and so forth. I mean, so one problem with the African terrain is that the great mass of the citizenry, they are either semi-literate or illiterate. So, you see, governance is not really much of their daily lives. They're busy on their farms, marketplaces, trying to, these are the things. And so, much of it will depend on the educated folk And the educated folk is public and civil servants. It's not easy for them to stick out their necks, you know, the consequences they will fear, victimization and all that. And so it's left with the TUCs, the private society, and how many of the private citizens belong to civil society organizations? You know, not many of them. And we have many civil society organizations, but the membership, the numerical strength, and then the organizational drive of this organization to bond with the people, you know, bring them on board, increase their awareness, and strike the march of action, you know, to burn in their minds. And so, so the active citizenry is a shriveled thing.
Yeah. So just two more questions that we can move away from illegal mining to other subjects. You know, the call by the TUC and the other organized groups, they made three demands. One is for government to declare a state of emergency around river bodies, and then another one for government to implement a temporary ban of illegal mining, then more especially small-scale mining. Government response was that we cannot ban small-scale mining now because some are doing legitimate mining. Those ones who are polluting the environment are doing so because they don't have licenses. So if you implement a blanket ban, you are being unfair to those who have licenses and they are not disturbing the environment. And government goes on to say that the call for a state of emergency around river bodies will also not be honored. Instead, government has tasked regional ministers in the mining areas to undertake swoops with the military and police and possibly seize mining equipment belonging to these illegal miners and destroy them. Are these measures what we need?
Well, you have to view them against so many factors, the realities on the ground and so forth. But even the argument that those that are licensed cannot be checked. I don't know. I haven't been to these places. It's not. I don't have the technical, but it doesn't mean that if you have a license to do something, you can use it anyhow. You know, does not necessarily mean. I mean, if they say that, from what you are saying, it means they are not degrading the environment. Is that true?
That's according to the Lands and Natural Resources Minister.
Really?
But some are doing underground mining.
Yeah.
And such exercise does not contaminate the water. They've employed thousands of people. Indeed, yesterday, the president of the National House of Chiefs makes the point that banning illegal mining or small-scale mining will render a lot of people jobless. And so he will not even support that.
Well, so long as they are doing it legally and not contaminating, well, there's no problem about that. It's lawful, it's harmless. Well, I'm not so sure it's like that. I'm not so sure. Because sometimes on tele we see these huge excavators. Are we saying that they don't belong to some of these small-scale licensed miners? I mean, look at the downtrodden people. Can they own those excavators and use them to? No, they go with pickaxes and whatnot, shovels and these sort of things, you know. So I don't know how credible that claim is. It has to be scrutinized. I'm not sure that that's what is happening.
We are also in an election year, and I mean, the criticism against those who are vying to leave this country, the criticism against them is that none of them has been bold enough to say that I will ban small-scale mining, maybe for a year or 2 or 3, and then use the opportunity to see how I can sanitize the system before I can allow any kind of mining at that particular level. We've not heard a definite, pronouncement from any of them. Should Ghanaians hold them strictly to make such a pronouncement? Should that be the determinant factor in deciding who we should vote for in December?
Well, what should determine voters? It's not any blanket ban. It's the harassment of the degradation of the environment. That is the core thing at stake. This country, policies and whatnot, laws can be churned out, very ineffective. Those things, to me, don't impress me. It's the action on the ground. One resolves the thing to stop. We announce a ban and it's still going on. Is there really no ban? Because, as you said, instructions have been given for bulldozers and whatnot to be seized. That's a kind of ban, but is it effective? Is the efficacy, for me, I always look at substance. Yeah, and look, let me tell you, this country, look. It's easy for people to say, oh, we are fighting corruption, we have put in place all kinds of laws and whatnot. The laws operate themselves.
No.
I mean, if not, then they are just put there as a deception. I'll put it that way. Complete deception, a fraud on the people.
The laws?
I mean, putting them and not activating. Yeah, it's a fraudulent way of exercising power. Very fraudulent, deceitful. Yes.
So how do we go around this?
You just give an impression, oh, we are fighting, and you know that on the ground it's vacuous. I mean, what is this? That's the trouble with this country. We're very hypocritical, very uncommitted, very unprincipled, very corrupt. That's the trouble with Ghana. Unless everybody makes a turnaround, committed to constitutionalism, to proper governance in the interest of the people, we're wasting our time.
This government, for example, will say that they have resourced the anti-corruption agencies more than any other government. There's a setup of the Office of the Special Prosecutor. The budget for STRAJ has witnessed an astronomical increment. The police have been empowered to do so. You say that all of these exist, and yet corruption is so high on the agenda?
Yeah, well, that's the point I'm making, that these things can be there as theories. And the operational effect is what I'm interested in. Now, if these things are put in place, what is the oversight, result, the supervision? If you resource them, you have to see whether results are forthcoming. If not, why?
So if we have all of these organs of state working to
I wouldn't say working. They are there, but not working.
If the claim is that they've been resourced to fight corruption, and we have laws to back them, and it's not working, then how do we deal with the issue of corruption?
Well, that is it. That's why it's a leadership problem in Africa generally. It's a moral issue, matter of conscience, commitment, true commitment to operationalizing the constitution we have adopted for ourselves, trying to serve the people genuinely. If these are there, those things, people will take steps, key steps to see that these institutions work to produce results. If that is not the case, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes these are instruments for fraud. I put it that way.
And you seem to have, in a way, given up on this fight.
Some are doing well, to some extent. And even the content of the laws. I mean, we'll look at the U.S. Their way of going after illegal wealth, I mean, it's more effective. I studied their system, how they go about it, and adopt it. Sometimes, look, I even heard one day on television or something that there was a clause which would have made the special prosecutor more effective. It was taken out.
During the consideration of the bill?
I should think so. Or whatever stage, but it was taken out.
But this matter of a law to regulate the conduct of public officers, it's been in the books for so long, yet to be passed by Parliament. You think that can help cure this canker?
Oh, conduct.
Or will this come up to add up to the several laws we have, but yet implementation becomes an issue?
Yeah, if we were implementing the number of laws we have already, we don't need more. We would have won the battle.
So it's a leadership issue?
Oh, sure.
And we don't have that kind of leader we can trust to fight corruption in the country as of now?
Well, if we had it, we wouldn't be in the situation we are in. We conservative lawyers say, sometimes say, res ipsa loquitur.
What about the courts? Has the court been...
The thing speaks for itself.
What about the courts? Has the court been proactive also enough in helping deal with these matters?
Well, that much. I was in the Supreme Court handling constitutional and whatnot matters. I wouldn't know too much. We deal with things that come before us.
In time, some judges have been accused of also being part of the corruption brigade.
Oh, sure. And as expose, some have been dismissed, as we know. So that is it. It's part of it. And that's why I'm saying that I don't know. It's a very big problem. And it all revolves around genuine commitment to provide good and effective governance, the interests of the people. You see, and that will affect the institutions in terms of recruitment. You don't put people there in terms of chronism, ethnicity, tribe, patronage. These things, we know they happen. You can't get any serious thing happening with that way of doing things. And it's persisting. And we know it. And that is the trouble with this country and most African countries.
So we are yet to see.
We're not committed to constitutionalism. We're not committed to the rule of law. We're not committed to exercising, assuming governmental power for and in the interest of the people. That's a fundamental thing. Our constitution is a very beautiful one. If we're operating it, man, look, what does Article 1, Clause 1 say? The sovereignty of Ghana resides in the people of Ghana, in whose name and for whose welfare the powers of government are to be exercised in the manner and within the limits laid down in this Constitution. That is the most paramount provision of this Constitution. Are we saying that our governance system is working this principle? I mean, in terms of appointment, in terms of fighting corruption. Who are those engaging in corruption in this country? From the media, from what we see it published on social media, and I mean, we know. Yeah, we know.
So if the laws are not working, or we don't have people who are strictly implementing the law, then how do we win this fight?
That's a complex system. The best way is civic activism. Civic activism. The people, they say the power, so they must rise up and see to it that the powers are really exercised to their benefit, and insist. You know, it's now beginning, but although late, but it's better than never. There are so many civil societies fix the country. What time you see demonstrations, you see these things. If and then if leadership will cooperate with them.
But in a society where we've actually monetized our politics,
yes,
and there's no end in sight in terms of ending this monetization of our politics. I mean, it takes thousands, if not millions, to win a seat in parliament. Not to talk of the presidency. So even before you get there, there's a debt that you need to pay.
Sure.
So when you are in such an environment where political funding is another subject we have to deal with, then clearly the fight against corruption will never be won until we deal with the fundamental issue.
Well, that's very correct. But it's a fundamental issue, but it's a complex issue. Because how does it happen? That's why I talk about commitment. Those buying votes, don't they know that it's an offense? It's a criminal offense. Under the Criminal Code Offences Act.
In fact, the Office of Special Prosecutor is prosecuting some of them.
Yeah, but how many? How many of them? I mean, oh Lord. Imagine this country. A few years ago, before I retired, I was so much out of touch with so many things. And my younger brother advised me to get a radio because I wasn't in touch with whatever. From office, I come home, I go to church, come back. And when we gave the decision on the fast-track court, its constitutionality, I was on that panel. Unknown to me, well, it's my younger brother who told me the following day. Said, "Hey, did you sleep here?" He was surprised. All my colleagues didn't sleep in their houses. This decision you gave was very hot, and you are here?
This was the case between Judicial.
Yes. And I saw some stoutly built policemen on my campus. I said, "Oh, what are you doing here?" So because of the decision we gave, so that's why.
They had come to give you protection.
Yes. Well, I don't know. Me, I just feel that these are normal things. You are a judge, you bring a case, you look at it, you do your best, you give the decision you are convinced of in terms of the facts and the law, and that is that. That's how I saw it. These things. So when I got a radio, I was shocked. I think that was
maybe after the election petition or before?
Long before that. Long before. This fast-track thing was around...
This was around 2001?
Thereabouts, And I was shocked that after the elections, some MPs were bold enough to come on air and call upon their constituents to return the goodies they doled out to them fridges, TV sets, and money.
It was a loss.
Yes, it was a loss. Look at a country like this. I mean, are we serious? It is multiply criminal to do that. They know it, and they can even come out boldly. And it's happening, and everybody knows. Huh? Look, recently on social media, a prospective parliamentary candidate, I think Bolgatanga East or something, if I'm right, said, oh, if the incumbent gives 1,000, he will give 3,000. Openly like this. And that's the system anyway. That's what is happening. Are we serious? And nobody, and these are our leaders doing that. The political parties are at the forefront of our leadership formation and process. And that's what they are doing. From presidential candidates down to parliamentary candidates, district level elections. And the country is, I mean, conscience, morality, fear of God, rule of law, these things, I'm sorry.
They are gone.
They are gone.
We are in another election year,
Yeah.
and in less than 3 months, we'll decide who will lead this country, and then 276 members of parliament. Already there's been, the NDC appears to have issues with the way the Electoral Commission is going about in the conduct of the December 7th election. They demonstrated 2 days ago. The EC insists that the voters register is clean, and for that reason, they will not allow any external body to audit it. I don't know what your position is on this matter.
Well, fact is, what we have seen on social media, provided they are true, while you are dealing with politicians, that's the main issue. Because sometimes some things are done just for what they call politics. I don't know what they conceive that to mean. They say it's politics. I mean, you are doing something dishonest and nonsensical, you say it's politics. And it seems to be an acceptable rhyme. You know?
Which one are you referring to exactly?
I'm talking about the general way the politics is practiced.
Right.
It looks as if anything can be said, anything can be done, whether it's true or false sometimes. And they call it politics. You hear these social commentators and even some of these political actors say, oh, it's politics, it's politics as usual. I mean, what do we, oh Lord.
So we should accept it.
Now I'm coming. So, what I've seen on social media, I cannot really get to the bottom of it, because, you know, they are saying one thing, MPP, they are saying one thing. As far as MPP is concerned, they have...
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the register.
Yes. And these people are pointing to, first they say that some transfers
were done illegally. They claim that over 240,000 names have entered the register illegally, and they want it audited. The EC says that it is an independent body. As far as they are concerned, they've done what is needed to be done to clean the register. So the party should accept it.
Oh, wait. I mean, I would have thought that, but I thought they said they should come on board and they will look at these issues, and they should, some say they should raise it at IPAC.
Right.
Now you see, look, if you are a patient, you're sick, you want to go for treatment, you know that, oh, this particular doctor, if you say in the village, it's handled so many people have died. And you say I should go there. What do you mean? Are you serious? I should hand over my life for certain death? No, so if what they are saying is true, like you've said, 200 and something, if that is true, well, the EC is the body mandated to do its work and to handle these things. But that's the trouble with this country. People can hide under the law, subvert it, become dictatorial, throw overboard the Constitution and the rule of law. That's what is happening in this country. It's terrible. And it has to be checked. You have power to exercise it, like I've read to you.
Right.
They have to be exercised for the welfare and in the interest of the people. If you are not doing that, you don't have the power. You can have the power to do only what is right. Can't just say I'm the authority, so what I'm doing, whether it's wrong or right, is finished. Cannot be so. It's a principle. This Constitution has ordained constitutionalism. And look, it's a beautiful Constitution. We are just not serious about it. Let me read this thing here. Article 3, Clause 4.
Right.
All citizens of Ghana shall have the right and duty at all times, A, to defend this Constitution, and in particular, to resist any person or group of persons seeking to commit any of the acts referred to in Clause 3 of this article, and B, to do all in their power to restore this Constitution after it has been suspended, overthrown, or abrogated as referred to in Clause 3. Now, Clause 3 says, any person who by himself or in concert with others by any violent or other unlawful means suspends or overthrows or abrogates this Constitution or any part of it, or attempts to do any such act, or aids and abets in any manner any person referred to in paragraph A of this clause, the offense of high treason, commits the offense of high treason, and shall upon conviction be sentenced to suffer death. And then all citizens have the right to uphold, to resist those acts.
Right.
So, and look, let's look at this, the duties of a citizen. The most relevant part is 41B. To say the exercise and enjoyment of rights and freedoms is inseparable from the performance of duties and obligations, and accordingly it shall be the duty of every citizen, B, to uphold and defend this Constitution and the law. So, look, and then you have the fundamental rights. You have the right to vote and to be registered. And let us look at the duties of the Electoral Commission itself before we can.
Right.
What 5D? Let's say the Electoral Commission shall have the following functions. A, B, okay, let's read it. To compile the register of voters and revise it at such periods as may be determined by law. B, to demarcate the electoral boundaries for both national and local government elections. C, to conduct and supervise all public elections and referenda. D, to educate the people on the electoral process and its purpose. Then let's go to 46, independence of the commission.
Right.
Except as provided in this constitution or in any other law not inconsistent with the constitution, in the performance of its duties, the Electoral Commission shall not be subject to the direction or control of any person or authority. They say, except as provided in this constitution. So you see, it's those words mean a lot, because if somewhere you say the citizen has a right to defend the constitution and the law, and clause 1, article 1, clause 1 says the power shall be exercised in the interest and for the welfare of the people.
There's also the protection for the independence of the Electoral Commission.
Yes, but it's subject to say, subject to except as provided in this constitution. You see, so those other powers given to the citizenry are provided by the constitution.
So in terms of fairness and transparency, you think that the Electoral Commission should at least allow itself to be audited as we head towards the elections?
Well, it's an administrative matter. I don't know if they have received these complaints from the opposition parties. All those things they have. Are they saying that they've gone through them and...
well, the NDC, for example, presented some of their issues before. The NDC said they investigated and corrected some of them. Some they admitted that, I mean, there were errors had been made. The electoral officer was suspended, and currently, according to the EC, is being taken to due process. So for them, they have addressed all the issues the NDC raised, and for that reason, there was no need for them to embark on that demonstration. But the NDC insists, and other people insist that in the interest of fairness and transparency, allow other people to look at what you have so that we all go into the elections with a clean mind.
Well, so then, what's the problem with the EC in this? What's the problem? Now, have they forwarded the corrections and whatnot they say they've done to the opposition parties to be sure that these things have been effected?
Well, the NDC insists on another exhibition, so that they can look at the document again and be sure that the concerns they have been addressed.
Yeah, I think a chance on some TV discussion on it appears the EC man was saying that there will be no further exhibition.
Yes, for now.
For now. And when again? Will there be any other exhibition before the election? And within adequate time for people to raise matters?
So what do you want done?
Yeah, so, I mean, to be sure that the matters have been really addressed, you know, they have to let the people see in what way they've addressed them.
Okay.
You see, look, let's just want Article 51. The Electoral Commission shall, by constitutional instrument, make regulations for the effective performance of its functions under this constitution. So that's their duty, to make the regulation to achieve effective performance. Not just exercise power, but for the effective obtention of the object of the power. That is their power. So if that is not manifestly shown, they are not actually acting within their constitutional power. That's the trouble with Africa. We just love power, we just look at it, and want to, I'm the one in charge and that's it. That's not constitutionalism. That is not it. And unless we get out of that and say that the law is not any private person's property, it is the most public and most binding system of doing things. Everybody is under that. Lest we get that done, people feel just too powerful, and that's what happens. Now, how does the independent, I think some are saying that to interfere with the power side. In what way? They're only trying to let you see the facts of the matter more clearly. That's all they are doing. Look, I've been a judge before. The jurisdiction that is given to courts, that power belongs to the courts. It's not to be shared with anybody. But when it comes to certain naughty issues, during the election petition, we brought in KPMG to audit the pink sheets.
Right.
We did that to bring about transparency because it was a mixed up situation. Okay. One party was saying, oh, there's nothing wrong, we have not quadruple, we have not blatant. Another party, hey, there's. So we suspended sitting for a week or so for KPMG to do the audit. Okay. And then, normally, we, the courts, we don't like, well, we sit in public, but we don't like the media to come and, be taking pictures and all this kind of thing. Common law press, we don't do that. But we allow them so that they can cover the proceedings. But don't televise them like that. We are not a political body. So, but the election petition, we allowed it.
Of course, and these days it's been happening.
It's been happening.
CJ
yes.
allow the cameras into the courtroom and all that.
Yes.
But since reporting the courts to open up,
yes,
and then to allow people to see really what is going on.
Yes, but we have the judicial has the absolute power over its yeah.
And that actually my final question I'm coming into, and it's about the overly politicization and attack of state institutions by political actors.
Yes.
And depending on where if you're in opposition, everything looks seem to be against you. If you're in power, it is the other way around. To the extent that even the appointment of judges to the Supreme Court is being challenged politically. What do you make of this? Is it a healthy development or something that must be dealt with?
It's yes and no. Look, it is all too easy to pretend that everything is fine, nothing is going wrong. When allegations of corruption were made against the judiciary, what happened? I mean, I met 3 lawyers. One of them was my cousin. It's not because he's my cousin I'm mentioning this. They were run down, banned from appearing before the courts for making those allegations. A few months later, an ask came. What happened? Did the corruption start from that time? So it is the thing with this country. People, that's what I'm saying. People just love the law. They take the power and subvert it. That's what's happening. They subvert it and feel that they have the power. That is not the power.
But should we have more
I'm
judges?
coming. So, and the appointment system. Why must some senior and more competent justices be left and others less experienced hoisted to the highest court? What is it about?
Is there some consideration coming from somewhere?
Well, but you just look at a prima facie in any institution. Right now it's happening. I understand there are grumbles in the police, in the army. Officers are being promoted above seniors. Why should these things happen? I think the judiciary is, the person doing that can't apply that to the judiciary. And as I say, look at the appointments. Find some very competent, very experienced in the Court of Appeal, in the High Court for many years. They are just sitting there. Others come for 2 minutes. Yeah. I mean, these things are happening.
And why is this so? Is there any other consideration beyond the laid down rules that governs the promotion and appointment of judges to certain aspects of our court, including the Supreme Court?
Well, if there were no other considerations, we wouldn't have grievances with the exercise of the power. Things were done in accordance with the law, the principles. I mean, for superior courts, there must be a person of high integrity and proving, honesty, this kind of thing. And must be a lawyer, if you are to go to the Supreme Court, of not less than 15 years standing. Right. What's the purpose of requiring 15 years standing? Is that somebody, you just look at the roll, the person was called at this date and has been in the archives for 15 years, therefore he qualifies? And that certainly is not. It is meant to let a person grow, system, get the requisite experience, be well equipped to come and do the job. But when you find somebody down the ladder, hoisted to the Supreme Court over, I mean, look. Let us not. This country will love to pretend. I'm telling you, I have to say this because this is what is happening.
All right.
If we don't get out of that and be sincere, respect the Constitution, and do things always with the consciousness that that power is not private power. It's public power for public purposes. And must be, that is the only power you have. Right. You don't have power to misuse the power. But now, over the years, I'm not saying that this is started now. If we go back from Nkrumah's time, you see traces of it, probably it's been worsening over the years. But a sore, which is left untreated,
becomes something else in the future. Your Lordship, thank you so much for your time and opportunity.
That's okay. I'm sorry I've been a bit, but no.
I get it.
No.
Thank you so much for watching.
That's all right.